High Five Casino.
High Five Casino is a social casino with real prizes and big Vegas hits at highfivecasino.com. The hottest games right from Vegas, and all winnings go straight to your bank account. Hundreds of exclusive games, free daily rewards, and come back to get free coins every 4 hours. Only at highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino is a social casino. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details at high5casino.com.
High Five Casino.
Hi, I'm Alex Yee. I'm a triathlete, and I'm super excited to be going to the Paris Olympics.
Hi, I'm Marion Franklin, a GB canoe slalom athlete.
Yeah, I'm Joe Clark. I am the Olympic champion from Rio 2016.
I'm Joe Fraser, Team GB gymnast.
Hey, my name's Emma Wilson. I'm a windsurfer. I'm really happy to be selected for Team GB for Paris 2024.
This is Anything But Footy, the Olympic and Paralympic podcast, covering the games all the time rather than once every 4 years. I'm John.
And I'm Michael, and we are en route to Paris 2024.
Days of will he, won't he? And it has been confirmed on day 2 here at Wimbledon that Andy Murray won't be playing singles ever again at SW19.
We will look back at his remarkable career, and we will look ahead to what we hope will be his Paris Olympic finale.
The Team GB announcements continue: archery, skateboarding, golf.
And we hear from the Team GB table tennis team, and we'll also bring you all the other news from the games.
Stay in touch with us as always. Anything But Footy on social media. Get all the latest from here at SW19. I hate that phrase actually. I don't know why I've written. Why have I written this about? Anyway, from here at Wimbledon, or check out the website anythingbutfooty.com. So in all seriousness, Michael, Andy Murray is out of Wimbledon, and in a statement that has been released as we record, he says he's looking forward to competing at Wimbledon for the last time, which means he will play doubles with brother Jamie for the very first time later this week. After we know he had surgery a week ago on his back, a statement as he was about to come out and play third on centre court against Mahak of the Czech Republic, or Czechia as we call him now. He said he was extremely disappointed, Andy Murray, that he's worked really, really hard, but he cannot literally play singles ever again at Wimbledon. That back injury has ruled him out. Of course, he pulled out of the US Open in 2017, just days before, I think the day before Wimbledon 2018, he pulled out, and now he's had to pull out again. And I just wondered whether, because the announcement came around lunchtime and he was due third on centre court, the longer we waited, the more it looked like he was going to come out and just take on that centre court crowd again. He admitted at the weekend that he wanted to feel the buzz one more time and have that opportunity to play one more time, was what he was saying. But he has come to an end in terms of singles. He will play with Jamie. He'll play a couple of Australians in the doubles first round and see how they get on. But maybe apt, I thought, Michael, with some of the numbers. He's never lost in the first round in 15 Wimbledons. That has been maintained by the fact he's not playing the first round here in 2024. And he finishes on 200 Grand Slam major victories, because he has already said that he is not going to the US Open. He will be retiring after the Olympic Games. And look, we can talk about everything that we know about Andy Murray in the episodes to come, but it is a moment at Wimbledon that there is no more Andy Murray.
Yeah, I think, and if you're going to allow one person to leave it to the very, very last minute, it probably is Andy Murray, isn't it? I think if we were talking about any ordinary tennis player here, leaving it that late to pull out, leaving not a lot of opportunity then for someone to come in and be at their peak for that match, I think we would probably be slightly critical of them. But if you're going to give a free pass to anyone, let's give that free pass, I think, on this occasion to Andy Murray. I think we probably need to record something at a later date, where we're a little bit more considered in our thoughts. This is literally news that's breaking as we record at the moment. So, yeah, I think time is moving on. We've said this many times, haven't we? Our London 2012 heroes are all gradually, one by one, stepping off the stage now, aren't they? I think once Tom Daley goes, and who knows, that could be after Paris. He might choose to carry on to Los Angeles and do another games in his home city. But I think once Tom Daley goes, that's it, I think, pretty much, isn't it, for all the 2012 heroes. I'm sure there's probably one or two that you might bring to mind, or people listening might bring to mind, that are still going on. But yeah, slowly but surely, they're all exiting, aren't they? And well, they're all exiting with a fantastic trophy cabinet. They're all exiting with a number of fantastic medals, and they're all exiting, I think, with our appreciation.
Yeah, and Wimbledon has been slightly hampered by injuries. Sabalenka pulled out just before her match. Azarenka pulled out just before her match. In fact, Emma Raducanu's opponent pulled out just before her centre court match. That was through illness rather than injury. So it meant that Raducanu, ranked 135 in the world, managed to pull out a brilliant victory against world number 98, Renata Zarazua of Mexico. She was a lucky loser from qualifying, but she literally got told 2 hours before, oh, by the way, you're about to go and play on centre court. I can guarantee that Renata Zarazua had never been on centre court in her entire life before. Now, Raducanu said she won ugly, but they all count in reference to some England match that apparently happened at the weekend. No one really knows. But some good news from a British point of view, that Raducanu looks strong as she progressed to the second round. Some of the other headlines, Yuriki Miyazaki won her first Wimbledon match 6-2, 6-1 on the opening day, beating Germany's Tamara Korschpatch before the third victory came from Sonny Cartel. Yeah, I literally, like you, have absolutely no idea who Sonny Cartel was, but she has got that victory, and she is through to the Wimbledon second round. She's the Great British number 9. She's 22 years of age, and she's in her first Wimbledon. And you can't ask more than that than winning matches, because unfortunately Liam Brodie lost in 4 sets. Arthur Ferry lost in 5 after being 2 sets up, and Heather Watson also lost in straight sets, bizarrely to her doubles partner from Belgium, Greet Minen.
Better news, though, for Heather Watson. As she was playing that match, Team GB were confirming that she will compete in her 4th Olympic Games. She's 32 years of age. She's going to be lining up in the women's doubles alongside the Olympic debutante Katie Bolter, who's also in the women's singles tournament. Andy Murray and Dan Evans, keep our fingers crossed for Andy's fitness, both competing in the men's singles, will also team up to compete in the men's doubles. The other pair is Neil Skupski and Joe Salisbury. Now, the mixed doubles pairs will be confirmed on site in Paris, we are told.
Yeah, I think there are 20 odd Brits playing at Wimbledon this year. Around that number started off, one of the highest numbers. So we will see how they progress, and we'll keep you up to date, of course, here on Anything But Footy. And check out our social media on Threads, on X, on Insta for all the latest headlines as well. Now, Great Britain's first ever skateboard medalist is returning for her second Olympic Games, aged just 15, as Team GB announced their first ever male skateboarder, aged 50. Sky Brown is now world champion after her bronze in Tokyo. Andy McDonald has been a professional boarder since 1994, long before even the skateboard community thought that they would come into the Olympics. And 16-year-old Lola Tambling makes up the team. All will compete in the park event. We'll keep our fingers crossed for Skateboard GB.
Yeah, I think Sky will be 16 when she competes, because if memory serves, her birthday's middle of July. I think it's just before the game starts. So that's why she was 13 in Tokyo. She'll be 16 in Paris. But yeah, selected age 15, selected age 16, selected age 50. Wow. 6 archers have been named to hit the spot for Team GB. 3 men, 3 women, aiming for the 5 medals in the singles and the team events. Bryony Pittman returns to Team GB for what is her second Olympics after competing in Tokyo. She will be joined in the women's squad by 2 teenage debutantes, Penny Healy and Megan Havers. Connor Hall, Tom Hall and Alex Wise all making their Olympic debut after a 1-point team win over Germany in the Olympic qualifying event in Turkey, which earned them their place in Paris.
Something about a win over Germany always has a nice feel to it. Now, with all the excitement of the British Athletics Championships that Michael brought us over the weekend, I can only apologise because we forgot to confirm the Team GB golf squad in our last episode. I think the email came in about 9 o'clock on Friday evening. Now, I know I'm working most Fridays at the moment because we have an Olympic Games coming up, but even 9 o'clock on a Friday night felt a little late for me. However, I apologise because we want to congratulate major winner Georgia Hall, who will be making her debut in the Games, and Charlie Hull, also returning after competing in Rio. So we have a debutant and we have a returnee. They will play in the women's golf event at Le Golf National after the men's competition with Tommy Fleetwood and Matt Fitzpatrick. And I just wonder, Mike, I'm putting it out here again. In archery, you get singles and the team. That's what you said.
Yep.
In golf, you get the women's singles and the men's singles. Couldn't they have come up with one more event where they don't have to play any more matches? They could have offered another gold medal.
I agree. I've asked this question. Well, I've asked this question last time around, and I certainly asked this question to Justin Rose back in 2016. And I said, why is the Olympic golf tournament just trying to copy the majors? 4 rounds, cut halfway through after the first 2 rounds, and then round 3, round 4. It's like, surely we could try and do something different with Olympic gold, maybe a mixed team competition, something like that. Would that not make it a bit more exciting? Would that not make players want to go and play there? Because if you've grown up as a golfer, you want to go and play in the majors, don't you? You want to go and play in the Open, you want to play in the Masters. You've not grown up wanting to go and play at the Olympics, but you have grown up wanting to go and play, if you're European or American, at the Ryder Cup,
yes,
for example, because it's different. It's a team event. It has its own feeling around the competition. So I did wonder whether when golf was brought into the Games, they should have looked to do something like that to build that kind of team event. That would, of course, have been detrimental to some of the smaller golfing nations. And I think the long-term plan is to make an Olympic gold medal on a par with the Open Championship or the Masters, one of the Slam events as well. But I have the same argument with cycling in the road race. You get individual gold medals, but as well as I do, to win an individual gold medal at the road race at the Olympics, you need the team behind you, don't you?
Yes.
Why don't the team why isn't there a team? It's an easy way for me to create more medals, more excitement, without actually having to build another venue or add more days to the program. So, it's always been something I've thought about with golf, whether they should have done something different, been a bit more imaginative. But I think, as I said, the long-term plan is to make it on an equal par to a Slam event.
And I suppose what we can't say is praise Andy Murray, as we were earlier, for winning 2 Olympic gold medals and going to his 5th Olympics. And effectively, tennis is what we're saying is that's on a par with winning a Grand Slam. And so what golf are trying to do, as you say, is trying to make it on a par, no pun intended, with
a major,
with the majors.
But
until it breaks through, but I agree with you. I think the cycling example is a brilliant example. You play the same competition, but in effect, if you can just push up one more place, you might get a gold medal because Charlie Hull has got a birdie on this hole and Tommy Fleetwood got a bogey on this hole. Do you see what I mean? And then every shot is still crucial because you're vying for a gold medal that's still available.
Yeah, no, I agree. Also, I'm just interested that you were talking about Wimbledon and being at SW19. And then you were talking about me just before we were talking about the golf. The reason we missed the golf out was because I was at the British Athletics Championships. In future, I'd like to say I was at M11. The postcode for the Etihad.
I would think you were on some motorway coming out of London.
Towards Stansted Airport. Team GB will have 2 table tennis players in Paris. Liam Pitchford going to his 4th Olympic Games. The 30-year-old will be joined by a Welsh debutant, 18-year-old Anna Hursey. Hursey's from Cardiff, became the youngest athlete in history to compete at the Commonwealth Games in 2018 when she represented Wales on the Gold Coast.
Where?
Gold Coast.
Where was that?
I was there. I was there 6 years before I interviewed Carl Lewis. She was aged 11 and then won the bronze medal in Birmingham in 2022. Now, double Commonwealth champion Pitchford has shaken off a shoulder injury to take his place in the history books. The first ever British table tennis player, as he told John, to compete in 4 games.
Makes me sound old, that, doesn't it? I am only 31 soon. Not that old yet.
Tell me about you and your shoulder. I'm concerned.
Really? Yeah, so obviously I'd had a few problems recently. Yeah, sort of April time. And it just hadn't been getting better, and I, just decided I needed to take a break and get it sorted like properly before Paris. Like, I was sort of like, it doesn't matter about any of the other tournaments. I'm gonna qualify through my ranking. I just need to get this 100% right. And I took a bit of time off, saw a specialist, had an injection. Obviously, was doing my rehab in the gym, and got back on the table sort of probably about 3 weeks ago now. It feels good. It's holding up, and I'm playing well. And to be honest, feeling in the best shape physically and mentally I have done for a few years. So I'm positive at the moment.
So in some ways, a little break could be beneficial.
Yeah, I think so. For me, it was well needed. I'd sort of, the schedule had been crazy from January sort of through to May. I think I'd been at home for like 4 days and just hadn't had the chance to do what I needed to on the table and off the table. And just traveling had just caught up with me, and my body wasn't in the shape it needed to be in, and probably mentally as well I wasn't. And the break just made me realize a little bit what how that can help you. And it's helped a lot, and I'm enjoying being back on the table, and we'll see what happens in Paris.
What could happen in Paris, Liam? What can you go and do?
I think anything's possible. I'm not going to sit here and say I can't do this, I can't do that. I've proven on my day that I can beat. Pretty much. I think most of the top 10 in the world, I've beaten them.
And Anna was saying that her matches could be quite close to the opening ceremony. I'm assuming you guys won't be on the boats.
No, I don't think we'll be going. Obviously, like Anna said, we normally play the next day after the opening ceremony, and sort of 7-8 hours on your feet, walking around the day before you play is probably not ideal. So, I mean, I did the opening ceremony in London because I wasn't playing the singles. So, I kind of experienced that and was like, right, I don't think anything's going to top it, so I don't need to go to another one.
I think that's a fair point from a British point of view. But just on that, Liam, the fact that we have these opening ceremonies and they're always massive. I've literally spoken to so many athletes representing Team GB. I don't know anyone who's going to be at the ceremony. Is it something that actually we could do without?
I think it depends. Obviously, it is a big spectacle, and obviously, if it's your dream to be in Olympics and go to an opening ceremony, then obviously there's that argument for it. Personally, for me, with table tennis, we normally start the day after the opening ceremony, so most of the time, none of us go. And I know a lot of sports start early. So I don't actually know how many are going to be going to this one, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see what happens if it goes ahead on the Seine or not.
Liam Pitchford, and great to catch up with Anna Hursey as well. She couldn't actually remember, Michael, when I spoke to her, how old she was. She was like, I was like 11 or 12. I was something like so long ago. That's a career, isn't it? That you start that young, and now you're in your first Olympics. We wish her well. But just on that point that Liam was saying about the opening ceremony, I know you love an opening ceremony, but I haven't spoken.
Don't even air your view.
I haven't spoken to any athlete who is going to be there for Team GB.
Yeah, that is a concern. And I think whilst the plan is very ambitious and will be a wonderful spectacle for the billions watching around the world, it's not a very athlete-friendly opening ceremony, is it? Because we know even, when it's in a stadium, athletes do have the opportunity to sneak away once they've, done their little bit, if you like. And there's so much waiting around. There'll be even more waiting around this time, both at the beginning and at the end. I remember where I was sat for the opening ceremony quickly in Birmingham at the Commonwealth Games. You could see the athletes coming in, being introduced, walking up what was essentially the 100 meters track. And then they had an option to turn right and sneak off and get in a car and go. They didn't even have to do, the whole lap of the stadium. But once you're on that barge in the River Seine, there's no chance to do that, is that? So it's not an athlete-friendly opening ceremony, but Stanley Boyle's fault. It's Danny Boyle's fault because it is because he created a London 2012 opening ceremony that was a television event. It was a television program. It was a film.
But we still think that because we're British. Because as Liam said, he loved the London 2012 one and he doesn't need to go to another one again. But that's still a very British way of looking at it, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
but
it's the only one I've ever watched, and
before,
I'm never going to watch another one.
Before the ceremonies were about what was going on in the stadium, in terms of where the cameras were and everything else. They basically put the cameras in where they were going to be for the athletics, and then they put a show in there, and they just picked it up on the cameras that would normally be filming athletics. So one on the finish line, one over where the long jump pit is. Danny Boyle ripped that plan up and made it a spectacle to watch on television, and that is now what everyone has subsequently had to do. It's about the billions watching at home. It's not about what goes on inside the arena, and therefore the athletes come down the pecking order.
Well said. In other news from the Games, 7 of the 9 para canoe squad picked by Paralympics GB are returning to the Paralympics. Champions Emma Wiggs, Jeanette Chippington in her 8th Games, Charlotte Henshaw and Laura Sugar are joined by Tokyo medalists Rob Oliver, Dave Phillipson and Hope Gordon, and Jack Ayres and Ed Clifton are making their debuts as well. So you were in Manchester. I'm now at Wimbledon. When are we going en route to Paris? When are we actually going to Paris?
A week before it all kicks off, hopefully. All being well, I've got my train travels come through.
Oh,
so I know when I'm going.
I'm all right, Jack. More.
You've got 2 passes.
Yeah, there's 2 John Cushings. It's a great worry. Now more Team GB announcements.
I haven't got any pass actually. I've got the train travel, but no pass. You've got 2 passes and no train travel.
More Team GB announcements to come. Check out our socials for all the latest from here at Wimbledon as well. We've got blogs. Michael's still promising to do one. Literally do one. And also the Spotify Olympics music playlist. If you are preparing to get en route to Paris with us, you need to listen to the playlist because it will help you get on your travels. And stay with us. We are en route to Paris 2024, the Olympics and Paralympic Games.
Sports Social Podcast Network.